Wow, that was insane. Yesterday I was at the absolutely crazy event known as Formula Drift Road Atlanta. In fact, I've been too lazy to even take off my wristband. And it might have been the most unpredictable Formula Drift event I've ever seen.
Whoa, that's a new one. Thompson diving in aggressive. Shit, you see him lock it up and tip the tail. Oh, get it one way.
Those bash bars just locked him in.
Whoa, T-Maz comes in hot. Outside zone, he taps it in. Mr. Cool, shot there. Holy cow.
I'm going to talk about the entire event, but I'm actually going to cut right to the chase for the reason you're probably here. And it might be one of the most memorable motorsports moment I've seen in like 10 years. Okay, maybe aside from the absolute video game move in NASCAR riding a wall to beat your opponent. That was pretty sick. But I'm gonna start this video with the shenanigans of my good friend Adam LZ versus Federico Sceriffo, which Adam did something that was basically a Assetto Corsa in real life, which would then cause probably somebody to get chat banned. Okay, quick context for anybody who has never been to an FD event. Here's a crash course of how it works in an absolute nutshell. Because FD to an average motorsport fan can be very confusing of how it works and what goes on, since there's not really a finish line or that kind of racing mentality. Okay, here we go. You got two drivers. You got a lead driver and you got a follow driver. The lead goes down, sets the pace, sets the line, and they need to put their car in these clipping points, or also known as where the car needs to be. The chase driver has to have proximity to the lead car and try their best to also hit those clipping points. The lead and the follow driver then switch positions, and then they do it all over again. Whoever wins did a better lead and typically a better follow. Okay, so did you notice that I didn't mention anything about a finish line? Or most importantly, passing? Well, there was certainly some passing yesterday. During Federico's lead chase in the big Ferrari, he came in real hot. The conditions were actually very unpredictable because it was so wet outside, and then it got dry again, so it was kind of hard to read. He flicked in and just came in a little too hot and went off course. And I have to make this clear, that Ferrari is absolutely massive, so it's already probably difficult to kind of know where you are as it is, let alone in these inconsistent conditions. But Federico goes off and Adam has to make a decision. Do I stay behind him and let him get back on course? Or do I make a decision to just keep going and pass him? And in passing in Formula Drift is incredibly rare. And Adam makes the decision. He passes Federico, and the crowd loses their mind. The stadium just erupted. Now, in any other motorsport, this really wouldn't matter because passing is just part of it. This actually felt more like what we all thought it was in the movies, like in Tokyo Drift, like somebody tried to be faster than another. That's not how Formula Drift works. But it is a forbidden fruit in Formula Drift that when it does happen, everybody loses their mind. But then Federico goes, nah-uh. He decides to do it right back in one of the craziest spots on the layout.
It's gonna be all she wrote. So Adam LZ, he passes.
We're gonna double pass.
Okay, we got Federico. This is ridiculous.
Which was also just gangster as hell, dude.
Everybody's smiling. People are saying, no, you don't do that to Adam.
And I think it's true that this will make Formula Drift history as one of the craziest moments ever. It'll be in the highlight reels, it'll be in the history books. And since Federico went off, he did lose the round to Adam, but I do believe that both of these drivers, winning or losing, they won the crowd. They won the crowd like the Roman mob in the Colosseum. Now the real question is, should it be seen as disrespectful to pass somebody in Formula Drift? Like a, ha, got you, you're too slow kind of deal. I don't really think so, because if you look at Adam's positioning, I believe it was actually safer for him to do that. Because you don't really know when Federico was gonna come back on, and then Adam might have hit him again. Adam made the decision to pass him, and that was that. But then Federico decided to do it right back, which nobody saw coming. And Adam made it absolutely clear in his post-race interview that it wasn't meant to be disrespectful. He made a decision, and it ended up being a super cool moment.
Yeah, that was super cool. I wasn't like trying to pass him to be a jerk up top. He just went off, and I didn't want to go off and then get my car dirty. When he passed me back, chopping through the grass, I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
But like I said, it was a win both for Adam and Federico, just because it was the talk of the town for the rest of the day.
You know, he burnt the meatballs. But,
and Adam's progression since he entered Formula Drift has been absolutely bananas. It's been amazing. And I'm not just glazing him because he's my friend. It's just been really awesome to see from where he started to where he is now. And now they both have done something really cool. But what's not so great though was the absolute chaos of the rest of Formula Drift Atlanta. Like, it was not a good day for most people. So let's go down the list, shall we? Speaking of Adam, Colette had one of the wildest seating brackets I've ever seen, where her opponent went off twice.
Failure to launch. That was a late launch. Oh, it lost. Come on.
And then decided to go, you know what? Whatever, and hit her on one of her other runs.
Whoa! Lost. Rips up into the side of Colette Davis.
Also, Jack Shanahan had one of the craziest crashes we saw all day. Some kind of car failure caused him on his flick to go straight into the wall and DB'd one of his tires. But this wall, for some reason, seemed to have a gravitational pull because Kelsey Rawlings also got hit and then slammed into basically the exact same spot. Once again, glad they're okay, but that definitely did not feel good. A 13-year-old got out of bed one morning, got in a simulator and said, yeah, I can do that. And he won the seating bracket in Pro Spec, which is just wild. Absolutely unhinged crowd moments, including where you do your first big entry at Road Atlanta. There's this area they nicknamed the kitty litter, like the dirt where people get stuck. And people had whiteboards in the crowd that said, Pro Spec needs to be litter drained. The commentary got absolutely wild. Von Gittin Jr. and James Dean having an absolutely crazy battle, showing that Von Gittin Jr. is still an amazing driver, even though he doesn't do as many rounds as he used to. Like, the battle was just chef's kiss. This was actually the coldest Road Atlanta event I've ever experienced because we're down here in good old Georgia, but it was rainy, it was cold, which made it insanely unpredictable for an 1,000 horsepower drift car. Grid Life also brought back full course drifting at Road Atlanta, which means you can basically pull a Forza and drift the entire track if you chose to do so. Like, the clips you get from this is just absolutely nuts. Like, do you understand how terrifying turn 12 is at Road Atlanta? It's like a 5-story drop and people were doing basically 100+ miles an hour down this thing. Full course drifting hasn't been at Road Atlanta since 2019, so it was absolutely incredible to see again. Taylor Hall actually did this in a full-blown NASCAR themed drift car with good old Dale Earnhardt number 3 on the side. And instead of exhaust notes, you just got Creed greatest hits echoing through Road Atlanta. Of course, the amazing battle between Frederick Osbo and James Dean, arguably some of the most consistent drivers in the world in this sport. And they had to do it again and again and again in these horrible conditions, probably the worst of the night. And it was just such a joy to watch, even though it was miserable outside. Seriously, if you think drifting is dumb, I can honestly see why a lot of other motorsports people don't quite understand it. But it's just a whole different experience to see in person. It is so much fun. And it's just a completely different experience than other motorsports like Formula One, for example. You can have underdogs in Formula Drift actually win rounds, you know? In F1, it's like, yeah, I don't see some of these teams winning anytime soon, right? On the same day as FD Atlanta, Max Verstappen decided to go to the Nürburgring and just break a record and leave, so that was pretty cool. Just a completely different side note. And he went under some weird alias, and he wore his entire Red Bull suit, which is not very sneaky, but okay. But the amount of wild things that can happen at Formula Drift, and especially FD Atlanta, is just a sight to see. FD is so much fun in person, and you're really missing out as a car fan to not go see it. I've been going for over a decade now, and every single time I go to FD, I always say the saying, wow, never thought I'd see this. But anyway, thought about Adam and Federico's battle in particular. Do you think it was fun? Do you think it was cool? Do you think it was disrespectful from either parties? Put it down in the comment section below. But honestly, it was an absolute hoot to see it in person. Amazing times. Thank you guys so much for just watching this fun Sunday bonus video. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. Have a great day. Goodbye.